Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
Excellent. Yourself?
I'm not too bad, but I'm not feeling very good about my country at this time. There's an advisory right now chastising Americans, Canadians, and British folks from coming to St. Kitts.
That's fake news.
That's fake news?
That is fake news. If you look at it,
I really hope it's fake.
Because, first of all, the date is incorrect. And then I don't think that the American government, the U.S. government, and Canadian government are going to issue a release coming out of, where I think it was, Miami or Florida or something like that. They would each issue their own advisory. And this looks like to be a joint, so I think I really believe it's fake news.
Mr. Lambert, we're at number 16, and I really hope that as much as you said that this is fake, that we really don't get the real deal coming out either next week or some other time, because we don't know when these criminals are going to strike again. My main concern, I am not blaming the government for the crime, you know. I am talking about a strategic plan, because this thing is out of control. The police have not been doing the work. They've allowed the criminals to run wild in this country. I am here, living here all my life. And I move around and I can't feel the presence of the police. Now and then you see a police vehicle pass by, you know, the glass up, sometimes down. But that is what we are paying them to do, just drive around, mash up the vehicles, and then we're going to beg the Taiwanese to give us new vehicles, and then somebody boasts that the country has gotten vehicles. Junior, we understand what's happening here. It's painful. I am not going to walk in fear. A lot of people saying, oh, the fearful don't go out. I am going to go out, Junie. I'm not going to be in fear. I can tell you that two people came in from the States a couple of days ago. I went to pick them up at the airport. And one lady said to me that a Ross student parent was on the flight. And she said, oh, my God, there's a lot of criminal activity taking place in St. Kitts. Back here, a lot of crime in America, you know, left, right, and center, every minute of the day. But it's a big country. And it's their home. That's okay with them. But this small island, and just this week you heard the regional news saying that per capita, St. Kitts is heading there again. We had this situation on the Dr. Douglas. And now you're hearing it again. It's painful, Junie. You remember the days when they were calling St. Kitts the murder capital of the world? We live here. I was in Ramsey Market earlier this week when a student actually said to one of the cashiers, oh my God, somebody got killed again. This was right after OJ. I said, no, we had 14, then we went to 15, OJ 15, no 16. I said, no, Lord, please tell me this is wrong. This is not true. This can't be happening. And yes, it has been confirmed. And the student, so they're paying attention. But when they look and say they want to come to a school, and they look at St. Kitts, what do you think they're going to be thinking? It affects everybody, including me. And I'm not going to be a beggar for the government, you know. I am not want any peace money, any PEP money, STEP money, because all those programs, you see what's happening to us? How can we spend $250 million per year? That is why we can't develop St. Kitts. Giving away money to people. And then Sean Richards going to come on the radio and talk about, oh, they had a program in place. Paying what? People to keep quiet? Nonsense. June, it is sickening and it is really causing hurt. How could Sean and Timothy Harrison, they sit down there and talk about so-called peace program to tell people, children, keep quiet, don't kill anybody. Instead of developing the country, find a way to create jobs for these people. What about investments from overseas? We can't have our ministers jumping on planes, going away, taxpayers' expense, getting the per diem, come back to St. Kitts, and then when you look, it's the next story. Nobody is telling you, well, you know, we're doing a follow-up on, you know, somebody we met with 2 months ago, 3 months ago. We are not getting that sort of conversation going. And, Junie, when is it going to take place? They've been in power 10 months. Junie, I'm a die-hard supporter of the Labour Party. You know, I keep saying it. I'm a die-hard supporter of the Labour Party. I have nowhere else to go, because I know I'm not going to vote for any other party. But we cannot continue. We have to talk the truth. I live by truth, Junie. That's why I'm successful at saying it again. When a Kittitian is going to live by the truth so that every day they could wake up and say, well, boy, life is great. People should not be cringing. Right. You're hearing all kind of frivolous stories about people saying, oh, you know, I need this and I need that, so I'm going to make an appointment. The government got to find ways and means to develop this country, Junie. This is the problem. And let me tell you now, no amount of giving low interest rate on student loans going to supersede the criminal activity. The criminal activity that's taking place in St. Kitts supersedes everything else.
I agree with that. All right.
Everything else, Junie. And you have a good afternoon.
I just wanted, just before you, just to let you know that if you look at that fake advisory, the date that's given is Friday, June 6th. Friday, June 6th, 2023. So I can't believe that's one of the keys that triggered a fake response because, and then for the US government and the Canadian government and the UK government to put out one travel advisory coming out of, where is this coming out of? South Florida Caribbean news. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But Junie, I'm happy to mention it. You know why? 'Cause everything is running wild right now in St. Kitts as far as news concerned. You're going to get the good, the bad, the indifferent, and the ugly. Yes. And we have to stay on top of it. The government has to do a better job communicating because they've dropped the ball big time on that. Can't be just a little snippet with Ike. Now and again the Prime Minister comes on. Now and again you have a little press conference and the news reporters ask selective questions. Junie, we have passed that stage. We have passed that stage. The citizens are hurted. I'm hearing all the chatter, but everybody is afraid to come and talk because they don't want anybody to know they have a point of view. Well, Gweneth Byron is going to speak. I'm from here, live here all my life, love my country to death. I should say maybe to their life. And I also love the ordinary people who I really want to see getting some sort of lift, Junie. Then the doldrums for too long, and every time ordinary people are supposed to get something, you'll hear the government doesn't have money. Okay. But there's money to do everything else. Junie, we have to come better than this.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to take some...
That failing grade is still very much on my mind. Okay. I need to see the government turning this place around, like yesterday. Have a good day.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dwyer.
I want to agree with Gweneth Byron. But broadly, I tend to say that for what is happening now in the country, we must all take responsibility, all of us.
Yes.
Government, the political community, the security agencies, parents, all of us. Mm-hmm. Let us start there and saying, listen, all of us are blameworthy. And let's try to take it from here. But I want to make another point. And that's not try to take it from here. We have to, otherwise we're going to be in some serious trouble. We already are in difficulty. I understand the Prime Minister he does not want to get ahead of the police in their strategizing and so forth. And to an extent, I understand and appreciate, because I told the Minister of National Security, as does Sam. And the easiest thing in the world for people to say is that you're the minister trying to control the police. Yes, the government has a responsibility to protect the nation through the institutions that exist and through proper policy. So all of us are to blame. Now, but let me say this. This is the second point I want to make. And I also agree, I had a commentary this week, that we need a full court press. The security agencies and the general public need to put a full court press and bring an end to this. The tail must stop wagging the dog. The question is, how did the tail come to wag the dog? When you hear people saying you cannot separate politics from crime, that is not true. Because some of the major orchestrators, architects of the criminality in the country are politicians in a country. I'm not being specific, I'm being general. Some years ago when I was in national security, I had a conversation with the Minister of National Security from Jamaica. He told me there were about 180 or 90 gangs in Jamaica, the majority of which were connected with his party. And let me tell you, this development bank matter, Junie, when this thing is divulged, people are going to really understand some of the implications and extent of the criminality that hung over this country in recent times. That is going to bring a lot of light to people. And I also want, when the investigations are done, and I don't want to put Sam under the spotlight here. That's my brother, and I have a lot of respect and love for Sam. Nothing about Sam. We want to find out who orchestrated the burning down of the Venezuelan embassy, because that's politics too. And the other commission there, what is the name of the place, Sam? The other place that got burned down some years ago. The what?
Not the Venezuelan embassy, something different to that?
The other one, Sam. There were two of them. The other one up the fort there. close to the technical school. Remember you had two arsons close to each other.
I only remember the
No. We had a man called Mr. Green. He was the ambassador for them.
The OAS thing.
OAS.
OAS, yeah.
OAS.
Yeah, OAS.
So when people start to talk about you can't associate politics, I mean, I could tell you some things that happened in the 80s here, which was all politics and all crime. And I'll finish by saying this. The smaller criminality is encouraged and empowered or allowed by the bigger criminality. So while I believe that the government here can do some more than it is doing, it has not been as apparently aggressive as it could have been through its agencies. When people start with this political thing about he should resign and all kind of stuff like that, they seem to be forgetting that, 10 months ago, we had a situation in which a building was constructed on Port Zante and the minister didn't know anything about it. And we have a situation with a bank, a government bank, in which $20-something million gone missing, unaccounted for. And they're talking about curbing crime and blaming politicians up to there for crime. No, man, we must not allow this to happen. We must never forget, and we must always remind them that they must stop it. They have absolutely no moral authority to come and talk about, especially failed programs. Sorry it took so long, but it's a hot issue, you know?
That's fine. Do you think, Dwyer, that things looking into taking a peek into the future, that things would get better before it gets worse?
Well, I can't say better before worse, but things will get better because they have to get better. The government is going to have to be disciplined and strict. It's going to have to make some decisions that will cost it some political points. And all of the institutions of the country, the home, the schools, the national security agencies, the general public, the business sector.
Right.
I mean, the business sector is implicated here as well. I don't mean to be unnecessarily controversial. When prices are too high, I mean, people are going to be tempted because they have to feed the children. I just went and bought a few items in a place there for children. $451. So this thing needs a full examination, Judy. And this is why I say we are all to blame. And the solution is for all of us. Just like the problem is all of us, the solution has to be all of us. And
Indeed.
The government has to be willing to face political fallout for doing what it is supposed to do. And I believe, doctors, we will do that. I really believe we will do it. And I, in my own little way, will do everything that I can to keep this matter on the front burner in the country. Things will get better. They will get better. They have to get better. Take care. All the best.
All right, thanks.
Good afternoon, the Big JL.
Yes, go right ahead, Morrishaw.
Sam Conda, Dr. Martin. I'm happy to hear Brother Dwyer calling in and chipping in on this conversation this afternoon. And I too think I need to do my part by picking up where Dwyer leave off because I know he dropped short on the Nevis end. We are speaking about the white collar and government not doing the right thing. So let's not forget the external wing at the hospital, at the Alexandria Hospital that started in 2017 that should have been completed in 2019. We are now in 2023, and we're hearing all kind of nonsense from the Premier about the finish date. Don't let us forget about the hospital there, the Van Samry, not the hospital, but the airport, the Van Samry Airport, the geothermal situation that is getting all kind of different story. But again, my heart is heavy, like everyone else, with what's happening in the Federation. And the idea of the former Prime Minister and Sean Richards and them coming, talking about crime and all of these things, they're the one that plant the seed. When you plant seeds, eventually they're going to grow. And the seeds that was planted in the last 7 years is what we are experiencing now. So I hope that all hands on deck and people start coming out and be honest and call a spade a spade. Because if we don't address these matters head on, Joni, they're not going to be resolved. All hands must be on deck. We have criminals in the police force. We have criminals in government. Even the governments we have in place today, there are people inside there that are very dishonest. We got people working at the ports, whether it might be at the seaport or the airport, they are very dishonest. You understand? We have to deal with them. We have to call them out. We got to say it for what it is. Too many dishonest people are put in places. The government changed, but there are people that was put back there who was there before doing wrong, and they're back there again doing wrong again. And we need to call a spade a spade.